Well, I'm Jessie.
And I'm Peter.
And we're St Kilda Mums. And St Kilda Mums rehomes pre-loved nursery items, clothing and toys and prams and cots and high chairs to some of Melbourne's most vulnerable families. And we make sure everything we collect and give out is really beautiful and really great quality.
We've got over 1,000 families in our network, so people that donate pre-loved items that they've used for their own children and are really happy to support families in need. So we started off just in the local St Kilda area, but we've grown to operate across all of Melbourne because there's been a really significant need that we've been able to fortunately address through the generosity of our donors.
Yeah, great. That's cool. So you guys won the local project,
Yes.
of the local project grants. How did you feel when you won it? How did you find out that you'd won?
There was a lot of high-pitched squealing. There was a lot of excitement. Yeah.
Yeah, look, for an organisation like ours that runs on, the tightest of budgets, St Kilda Mums really is a grassroots organisation that runs on a shoestring. So $10,000 is a lot of money. And it means that we can, it just means that from a sustainability perspective, that we can see well into the future and can continue to build and develop, our own growth and plans for helping more families.
And the most important thing about it, of course, was the Facebook voting, because everyone got so behind it, and all of our likers were telling all of their friends to vote for us, and we were number 2, like most of the way through, and then we got pipped like 3 days out from the final day, and we dropped to number 3, which meant that we wouldn't have won anything. And we did a huge campaign to try and get the number of votes up, and we were really, really lucky. We managed to scrape in a number 2 and get the $10,000, so it was awesome.
That's awesome. That is great. Now, I heard you guys were quite popular, especially down at the bank. Do you want to say anything to them? I mean, you've got the chance to now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for supporting us and for telling your customers about us, because I'm sure it made a difference for us winning. Yeah.
Yeah, $10,000 is a lot of money, especially for a grassroots organisation. How are you going to use that? What sort of a difference is it going to make?
Well, we can buy 100 cots.
Yeah,
That's a big start. Yeah.
We've currently, we've got 30 families on our wait list for a cot for newborn baby. So $10,000 means that we can, instead of having to wait months for those donations to come in, and obviously a cot is an item it's a piece of nursery equipment that families hold on to for up to 4 years. It might be able to be converted into a toddler bed. So something like that means that we can really meet those needs, and not just with. Then we're obviously very keen on recycling and using goods that have already had one life or multiple lives. But it means that we can actually go out and buy some brand new or in really great condition second-hand cots.
Or even a nice new mattress for a cot that's been used before would make a huge difference to a family that can't afford to buy a new one. Yeah.
So really it means that more families get helped, more babies get a safe place to sleep in, and we continue to be able to do the work that we enjoy doing.
That's great. You probably sort of touched upon that a little bit, but I wouldn't mind fleshing it out a little bit. What does St Kilda Mums do for the community?
Well, I think one of the most fun things that we do is we really get to know like-minded people. So we've grown a huge network of families that make donations to us, and a lot of those families have turned around and offered to volunteer for us. So we've got a huge volunteer network. There's a lot of people behind St Kilda Mums. There's 75 volunteers at the moment who would give up at least 2 hours every month to come and sort clothing and make up clothing bags and check cots and prams and clean high chairs and do all those, boring tasks that, you get good at doing when you're home with small kids. And when we get together and work on these projects, we're really thinking about the mum on the other end who's going to receive this beautiful cot or pram or high chair, and we want her to be really happy and feel like she's maybe got a friend or someone who really cares, wants her to have the best. Yeah.
Cool. we're doing local project again next year.
Yes.
What would you say to someone who you think could benefit from the local project? Like, how would you get them to get amongst it?
I'd say just apply. Yeah.
And I think if
application
they
process,
can trust their
yeah.
ideas as well, if they think
Yeah.
they've got a great idea that can benefit their community, because our St Kilda Mums started off as 4 mums sitting around a table at Mums Group and sorting through 2 bags of clothing and thinking that this might benefit the local maternal health nurse, you know, and it really grew from such a small idea into something that's now servicing over 400 caseworkers across Melbourne, has over 1,000 families that are donating, and it's been able to grow organically and through community goodwill. So I would just say to any people that have got a small grassroots project, you know, just to go for it, you know, and to seek that support, because they'll definitely find that it's out there. I think that's what Jessie had said before. One of the apart from just the direct servicing of family needs for disadvantaged families, we've been amazed by just the support of the network. So people that want to be involved and
Excuse me.
and that sort of collective goodwill from people that really want to help, and they've been given an opportunity. We've been able to provide them with an opportunity to help in a very easy way, and in a way that they understand. You know, they understand raising kids, and they understand that it can be really tough. So it's a really simple way for them to help via St Kilda Mums.
And the other thing I would say to anyone who's considering applying for the local project next year is get on Facebook, make sure you've got a great page, and make sure you start developing your network. We might have to do that again. Okay, Carolina, honey, we're still filming.
You've just lost mine. That's the only issue. You have lost my
Can you
child.
play Vera? So that, sorry, I'm just...
Camera ready?
Right. The one thing I'd say to anyone who's thinking about applying for the local project next year is to make sure they've got a really fantastic Facebook page and that they've got a great community of fans or likers who are going to vote for them next year. But start working on that now. Don't leave it till next year. You've got to make sure you've got a great group of people who really care about your work. Yeah, Facebook's the way to go.
That's one thing that St Kilda Mums has been able to do very well, is develop that, you know, harness the power of that online community. Constantly updating them with, I mean, we might do 4 updates a day about a request from a social worker. We've really been able to tap into that, that sort of energy and power of the online community. So a caseworker comes to us and says that they've got a family that needs a single bed for a child. And I mean, I've seen Jessie post, you know, 8 minutes later, that took 8 minutes, we've got something's being driven out there that day. So, you know, people that really do want to help, and this is a way for them to get involved with their community. So.
Yeah, good. And how did you find, like, the voting process? Like, were you finding that it was just your networks that were voting for you?
Nail biting. The tension.
Well, we couldn't really see who. I mean, I couldn't really see who was voting for us, but there were a lot of names I hadn't seen before, I guess is the answer to that question. Like I didn't do a cross-reference of which of our Facebook likers had voted for us and which hadn't. We didn't do any of that. We just saw the numbers going up all the time. And we also saw our competitors' numbers going up all the time, which motivated us to talk about, you know, getting more likers.
It's a great way to build momentum within our network of this is our current status on the voting scale. So that was it was fun really.
It was fun.
It was fun because we ended up being successful.
Have you found that the local project has sort of gotten the St Kilda Mums name out there a bit more?
Definitely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. We had a fantastic donation of $7,000 cash from a local family, and they found out about us through the local project. So if that hadn't happened, we never would have been able to grow as quickly as we have. So it's been awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think also being an organisation like the Bank of Melbourne, I mean, I think people see St Kilda Mums and think specifically sort of St Kilda without understanding that it is actually a lot larger than that. And so the Bank of Melbourne behind us has been able to lend us that sort of weight and credibility as well. You know, that it's not just a tiny,
Melbourne
you know, it's not
service.
just Jessie and I. It is an organisation that the Bank of Melbourne have seen fit to fund, and therefore, you know, that's kind of resulted in people taking more interest to a degree, or seeing that we're larger than we might appear just because we're called St Kilda Mums.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. And one final question from me is, what's your signature dinner time meal?
For my child, the fussiest eater on the planet.
My husband does all the cooking, so I can't
Yeah.
answer that question.
Yeah.
Peter will answer that question.
Look, I have to say, my children are very fussy, but they do love my chicken curry. So
Yeah.
that's always a hands. That or tacos.
Hard or soft shell?
Well, look, I've always done the hard shell, and then my husband made soft shell tortillas. And
From scratch.
And but they weren't interested. They were not interested. They wanted old El Paso, kind of, like lots of preservatives, hard, crunchy tacos, old school tacos. Yeah.
So you happy? Yeah?
Really good. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, God.
And I'll come over for those tortillas anytime, baby.
Well, I did say,
Maybe we'll get them to run up to you. Or something.
Yeah.
oh, great.
Stand where
Hey, girls.
Okay.
Stand back where you are.
And if they can...
Get in the same positions, and then we'll have them run up.
Continuity,
Okay.
continuity. So we have to look like we love them. I've had both of them all day. I don't think I can fake that emotion.
Here they come. Here they come. Pixies, who's going to jump into whose arms? Happy birthday, Caroline. I love you, darling.
Was that loving families enough?
Did you learn how to run in high heels?
Real lions.
That's gorgeous.
Real lions
Thank you,
down the
darling.
laneway? No. Are there? I'm too scared of lions. I can't possibly go down there. No, I couldn't
go.
possibly.
Hey, thank you. I'm pleased. I'm pleased.